Gotta save me from myself. This emptiness, it hurts like hell. My good intentions let me down. I keep getting in my way. My stubborn pride will dig my grave. Leave it behind with every step I take. Yeah, cycle down. Walls are coming down. I gotta make it out. Yeah, 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 yeah. Look my fear right in the eye. I just wanna feel alive. I just wanna feel alive. I just wanna feel alive. I just wanna feel alive.
I walk to you so I can be close to you. It's really simple if you look at it that way. Time that we get by with money we don't know. Pockets empty but hearts are full anyway. Hey. Playing like children and love like orange. You were too good for me, but I wanted you anyway. I always loved you over my head, even when you lived alone to make your parents mad. Say goodbye to your old life, turn the page, follow my bed. I don't care if loving you over my head. You talk to me like breeze, running free, beautiful images everywhere. You take a picture of us kissing in cars, it makes my day 10 times better. Yeah, playing like children and love like orange. You were too good for me, but I wanted you anyway. I always loved you.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to tonight's PAC-U Collegiate Invitational for Overwatch. Tonight's scheduled games include matches between University of Utah and University of California, Berkeley. Then later, University of Southern California versus University of Colorado Boulder. The PAC-U is a group of schools working together to connect directly and plan events and matches that are, from a schedule standpoint, modeled after how analog sports are showcased. Right now, through esports, we are able to communicate with one another and form community digitally that many of us in this past year have not been able to do. We will be streaming on the PAC-U channel and Twitch plus respective universities' pages. And now, to introduce ourselves, I'm Gabriel Del Rosario from Washington State University, and I'll be serving as Artie, one of your casters tonight.
And I am Jesse Broaders. I'm a freshman at Arizona State University, and I'll be serving as one of your casters tonight as Twin Salty. Hope everyone is having a great night for some great Overwatch.
Yeah, let's get started with this. So I want to say right off the bat that I'm super excited to watch University of Utah and Berkeley to go head to head because on the collegiate scene in the sort of northwest-ish area, or at least this region of competition, they are almost always top 10. Like, I don't know if you've watched them very much, Twin, but it has been a ride to see them compete versus versus my college, versus other colleges. They're almost always in that top 10 seed. Watching them is just going to be a blast.
Oh, it's going to be a great night tonight. Utah is always consistently one of the better teams in the region. And then University of California hasn't been that far off. They've been slowly just climbing up, creeping up to some of these higher tier teams. So tonight, I think it'll be more of a test of where Cal is compared to Utah. Obviously, we know where Utah is. We know they're up there. It's more our teams catching up to them for the Collegiate West Coast region.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a matter of can they compete, because the Northwest scene is not exactly an easy one.
No.
You have some pretty tough teams to overcome. So if you're a new team to the scene, or if you're a team just starting to get started, then it's going to be tough. In regards to this whole thing that we're doing here, PAC-U, I would say that it's a culmination of everything that we have tried to accomplish as organizations together. We're competing against each other, sure, as schools, and we have our rivalries still holding strong, but on a administrative level, on a broadcast level, and on a growth level, we're all working together and want to create something massive, something impressive, all while restricted in our movements, where we can't compete in person as much as we'd like to.
Yeah, especially because of COVID-19 right now throughout the world, it's limited on what we can do. Obviously, we would love to be doing this in person, but just with the state of the world, we get to do this. But it's awesome that all these schools, even though kind of just the normal events that go on during a normal college year can't always happen, we get to do this, get to do these rivalries, get to renew them, and even make new ones. You never know. This could be a rivalry between Utah and Cal coming up.
Yeah, and we're going to get started on Lijiang Tower. This will always be our first map according to the information that we are privy to. We have our team setting up here in 3 seconds. We'll see these compositions. Do you expect anything particularly special this round, or something fairly normal?
I would probably say something fairly noble, at least on the tank and support line. DPS, it depends on the team. Most teams are going to be running that Sombra Reaper comp, but I've seen some teams run with like an Ashe or a Tracer, or even more niche picks like a Sim Junkrat comp. But I would say you're either going to see a Rein Zarya comp here or a Winston Diva Rush. And either way, you're probably going to see Lucio Moira, as it looks like to me the side for both of them, Lucio Moira, and then Cal is going to be running for that Rein Zarya look, while Utah's been running for that Winston Diva look.
Yeah, and what I will say that is interesting is that we are seeing an Echo fly out here, which is the difference between these two teams, aside from the obvious tank lineup difference and the strategic differences. We have our Cool ABC coming through the back here, and it doesn't seem like they're actually privy to her location. She's going to get in some free DPS here while her tanks push up from the front. Sonic is keeping her healed up, keeping her DPS high, and Zombie's going to keep on throwing Tesla damage outside in front. And there's not too much gonna be throwing damage out too fast, but we have both ults going. Since not a whole lot of death happened, that meant the healers were putting in a lot of work. Both of them had Coalescence, and that is both teams racking up kills left and right. Echo also gets her ultimate and already has an Earth Shatter, gets a free one onto Zarya and is trying her best to take him out. There it goes. Cool ABC getting a kill onto both tanks. That Earth Shatter coming in clutch after almost every single ult was used up from those collected. And it seems like Utah will be taking the first bit here. I would like to, Twin, I would like to hear your feedback sort of on what happened there, because I think that it was impressive that the healers kept up for so long, but they both burst their coalescences kind of in response to each other. I'm not sure who fired first, but they tend to fire at the same time. That burns both ultimates, and it seemed that the Lucio didn't quite have his ultimate either, as he's at 75% at this moment.
Yeah, it was great discipline from both teams, just not pushing in too far where they're going to get picked right away. Both Moiras getting that coalescence up, as Koala is actually going to get another one up, but I think the big factor there was Cool ABC. They didn't deal with him. He got that duplicate up very quickly.
Hold that thought for a second. Spotlight is starting to pick up kills. He already dove head first and will get killed immediately, but he does take out the main tank of Utah, which allows Berkeley to get the room that they need to push up. Seven makes sure that that's not an easy thing for them to come back from either, as he does pin the Zero Suit Diva. And Zombie is trying his best to live, but is getting so much flack. But there's another Earth Shatter from Echo, and it doesn't quite pull off everything that he wanted to, and Berkeley does respond with a Graviton Surge. But it doesn't seem to do a whole lot for them, as after the ultimate is finished, 3 of Berkeley's team members go down, and while they did capture the point in that event, Utah does win the fight and bring it back. And I would like to say that because those tanks were getting flacked down so much, they essentially just didn't use their ultimates at all, and now they have both, including a Bob. That's a lot of space-making tools, as it were.
Yeah, and it was great there. Both teams, it just seems like Cool ABC doesn't get focused down. That's the way that Utah won that last fight. He lives long enough to get the duplicate and just go in the back line, get the Zarya, and then it was just a great play there as Andy is going to pop the Coalescence into this next fight.
Yeah, and Ryan immediately gets shredded, which is basically going to force Berkeley to go back with both of their healers down, courtesy of Moira. That's going to just about force them to go back before the fight even begins. So much burst was essentially just pumped into that Reinhardt that there wasn't a lot that he could do, and his team could just do their best to mitigate it. It wasn't enough, and now we're in one-fight territory due to that Ryan kill.
Yeah, and we're going to see
Spotlight gets spotted too.
We're going to see Lime swap onto the Soldier here. Both tank ults for Utah, and Cool ABC coming from the top ropes here as Ryan.
Yeah, and both, I was about to say both Ryans, but the Echo's trying their best to toss out whatever ultimates they can. They try, University of Utah tries their best to make space. Zombie knocks the Ryan off the cliff, and the Zarya that is, oh, not quite the Zarya, we're almost there. There you go. He's got both of them off of the cliff. That is key. That is both Berkeley tanks down, and it's all downhill for Berkeley at this point, with just people trying their best to mop up kills and finish this round. That, I would say, was fairly dominant for Utah, wouldn't you say?
I would say fairly dominant. You would have little bits and pieces here from Cal, but I think the thing Cal struggled with was just closing down fights. They would always they would cap the point, but they would leave. Cool ABC would still be alive, and then Doc 21 would still be alive, and they would stall long enough where the rest of Utah could come back in with one quick fight. Cool ABC getting that duplicate up very quickly, and it was a fight win right every single time. They cannot deal with Cool ABC.
Yeah, I was going to say that Berkeley seems to be having a hard time putting down Cool ABC. And Cool ABC is building up their ultimate very, very quickly, like you said, and that is just going to be an issue unless they can find some way to deal with it. Zombie's going to switch over to the Wrecking Ball. Not a bad idea on this map for the many cliff reasons around the base. But we're going to see how well they're able to make use of it. Berkeley, on the other hand, swapping almost everything around except for their Moira.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird swap here. They probably thought they were going to be running the Diva Winston on the opposite side, trying to match it. But to our surprise as well, Zombie's going to be on that ball just for a lot of stall potential, but as well as boot potential.
Yeah, and Seven, unfortunately, just back there, gets downed by Cool ABC again. That's 2 members of Berkeley already out of this fight before, not before it began, but just about on par with it. And having both DPSs down on Berkeley's side, Utah already has the point. That fight was over just by a few cuts, really.
Yeah, a very quick fight. Berkeley couldn't get their foot in the door, really. As we're going to see Lime swap onto the Widow, just trying to get more of that carry potential. And he is going to get Cobalt, maybe just trying to peek out a little bit too much, and he's going to swap back onto the Ash.
It does burn the Resurrection, though, which does say that any kills they make in this fight will be final. Blue Boss is kind of burning all of their health away from the Ash. I'm not sure what the play there was. Seven's going to try to come over and put some pressure on the Ash, but it is too late to save any of their compatriots, as Cool ABC is just going to mop the floor with the enemy push as well. I am not sure what Berkeley is to do here, but they are building up ultimates fairly quickly. The tank diving off to the side was honestly a surprise. I was surprised that Blue Boss made that decision.
Yeah, it was a questionable call from Blue Boss, going on to that right side, trying to pressure the Ash, I should say, and it just didn't work out. Got low, got demaxed. and just got killed right away. So you don't have any of that defense matrix utility that you would usually have when your team's trying to push in. As
Oh
Cool
my
ABC
goodness,
is gonna get a cool
oh my
double.
goodness, Koala and Lime are just gone, and that's not enough to build up the ultimate, but that, again, ends the fight right there and then. Spotlight, I suppose, jumps off the cliff on purpose, but I don't know.
Yeah, not quite sure.
But they're just going to reset again, and Utah's making it very easily in one fight territory here, just based on the fact that they're kind of killing pushes before they even get started. I would say that Berkeley's having a hard time keeping their people alive on the approach. Either that or Utah's very good at capitalizing.
Yeah, they're also struggling to get a full 6-on-6. I don't think we've had a full one since the very beginning of the game. There's a great Diva Bomb here. Is going to get the Valking Mercy. It's going to be a quick 4-on-6 and a hopeful point capture for Utah.
Yeah, no, Utah's already had the point, and that was a dominant attack there. That was absolutely brutal. I would love to point out that Diva Bomb plus regular bombs from Wrecking Ball those were fantastic, because it forces them to either run in the mines or die instantly if they don't have some sort of way to get outside. At this point, it seems like Berkeley is just going to be trying to delay the inevitable here. Seven's going to be able to buy some time with his ultimate, but I don't think it's going to be enough necessarily, because everyone's just trickling in at this point, and it's getting quicker and quicker when they step off of the point here. They're going to try their best. Spotlight almost has his pulse bomb, but it is gone before he can get it off, and Utah will win the first map. And I would say that was a lot less even than I anticipated, Twin.
Yes, we could say first stage, it was pretty competitive. Granted, yes, Utah had the better side, but at least California, they did give at least a good effort. They had a few of those fights where they should have maybe got a little more point capture if they kind of just dialed down on who they're target calling. But that second stage was just Utah. It was all Utah. Great play from both of their DPS, even the tanks and the supports. Cal couldn't get anything going, man.
And I think that honestly stemmed from a lot of the picks early on. Like, I think 2 out of 4 of the fights, maybe even 3 out of 4 of the fights, they managed to just pick off like one member, maybe 2 members. It was like you were saying earlier. I think what you said earlier really rung a bell. There might not have been a single 6v6 fight since the beginning of the second round.
Yeah.
And that's brutal. Like, and most of the time it was the main tank. It was the main healer. They lost key components of their fight before it even began, and they weren't able to pivot.
Yeah, it was just great play overall from Utah. It just Cal, they kept on getting staggered as well. That was the thing. They could have had maybe an extra 1 or 2 fights if they weren't stalled out as much. Even when Utah's Echo comes in, gets 2 picks instantly, throws the bomb into the small corner, almost gets a second bomb. It just adds maybe 10 to 15 seconds, but there's no team fight. He gets 2 picks, and it's just Cal retreating. There's no actual fight, and it's just an easy, I don't know if you even want to call it fight win for Utah.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think we're going to be going to a break here soon. But when we come back, we'll be seeing the second map pick. That'll be Berkeley's pick, and hopefully we'll see something they're more specialized in, since it will be their map pick after all, and kind of work around which players they need to target the most and when. But do you think that there would be any
Showing off, don't wanna have to wait tonight, wait tonight. Better off, I'm gonna find my way tonight, wait tonight. Won't you talk to me? I wanna heal your sorrow. Won't you talk to me? We'll make a new tomorrow. Won't you talk to me? When I'm up through the night, I can't turn down the noise, tear all the words out of my mind about who I'm supposed to be. I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away, they were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Maybe my compass was wrong, and I'm still on my way closer each day to where I belong. I'm still rolling the dice, praying sometimes it don't last it long. I'm losing my faith, I'm walking away from what you knew all along. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing.
And welcome back. We're going to be heading to the second map here. We'll be seeing what it is in just a moment. But until then, I'm sure everyone watching, as well as ourselves, had a few comments on the first map. The confusion that Cool ABC was able to sow with Echo, I think that was just top tier Echo play, honestly, because they did everything that an Echo should. Basically, creating a threat from a different hero than anticipated, from a different angle than anticipated. Especially that Ryan in the first map, the two picks are in the last fight territory of the second round as well. That was nasty. Like
It's just great play from Cool ABC,
Yeah.
man. And nothing Cal has done so far has stopped him. They went on to the Soldier. They went on to Ash, Widow. Nothing can work.
Yeah,
So
and
you
I
just
would point
gotta
out
pick
that
a
pretty
map.
early on. I was like, yeah, pretty early on, they actually tried to go as opposed to dive. They went to another Rhine, and then Utah immediately responded by burning all resources on killing that Rhine, and then letting their DPS do their thing.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's a sound strategy if you can make it work, right? But it's a sound strategy if you can get everyone to focus at the exact same time, burn it down fast enough, and they did that. And
Exactly.
what do you think that Berkeley has to do to pivot here? Because I think they have a few gleaming bits of hope. This certainly isn't all over.
Oh, it's definitely not over. I think it's just they were losing the tank battle. I think first map was more just the difference of play styles. Maybe they were not used to playing against that Ryan Zarya comp on that Pacific map, or I think it's just they're like, oh, there's an Echo. Like they were probably so shook that because Echo doesn't get played too much,
Well, Echo gets played sometimes on the higher tiers, but
some on higher tiers, but like if you're seeing, I don't know, ASU hasn't ran it at all. I don't know about WSU, but it's just not something you run normally right now. A lot of teams are running that Sombra Reaper comp, so I think there's like, oh, there's an
and I say
Echo.
it not only it was the combination of an unlikely pick as well as an unlikely pick that knew what they were doing with said pick as well.
Mm-hmm.
I am personally always a big fan of players that have that niche pick, that niche ace in the hole. I love those. Those are fantastic. And seeing Echo get pulled out to start, like not as a switch, just a yeah, no, we're going with this. I really really like those, and I'm happy to see more of it. I don't see them switching anytime soon, even with a different map type. Do you think? I don't think Berkeley. I would imagine Berkeley is a little bit shook right now, but they have to do something about the Echo, right? And the Echo coverage, by the way, has also been fantastic. I didn't point that out at all during the match, but the Echo coverage, allowing Echo to perform, has been great from the Utah team as well.
Oh, absolutely. Been keeping her up constantly. And the thing, if you're California right now, you were like, all right, we can maybe start trying to mess with the Echo. But even if we have our map pick, what if they have another set comp for our map pick? That's so niche, and then we're caught off guard again. And then unless only the top tier teams in collegiate can just flip on a dime and adjust.
Yeah,
And we'll see
and
if Cal is one of them. If Utah does pull out one of those more niche strats again on this next map pick.
yeah, and I don't think Utah's necessarily going to pick out an entirely new setup necessarily, but I do think that they are going to prepare for what I believe was hybrid. I would
I
suspect.
believe so.
I would suspect, given how Utah wants to operate, I would not be surprised if they picked something like Nimbani with all the upper catwalks and other just areas to mess with, because verticality seemed to be their friend with their Echo, and they messed with it with when they were messing around with the other compositions too. Anytime that they could take advantage of positioning, that was when they really shined. And of course, those early picks too. But you can do that on any map.
Oh yeah. I'm afraid if let's say Cool ABC goes on a different hero, and he's still getting those early picks, or even Cobart if he's getting early picks, but he didn't have a bad map either. I think it was just Cool ABC had such an absurd map that we didn't really get to see what Cobra got to do because it was just all right. Cool ABC's going to get 2 picks here and 2 picks there,
And the fight's
and
over.
he's going to copy Ryan and kill 3 on point. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy, but you never know what can happen on this new hybrid map.
Yeah, and they might flip, right? Like you said, maybe Copart's the one with the flip pick on hybrid. We'll see exactly how that works out pretty soon here, I imagine. But I'd say that the players to look out for, honestly, have been the tanks. The tank play, while it hasn't necessarily shined in these matches by both teams, the tanks are going to be the one who protect the support, and the support have been getting shredded.
Oh yeah,
At least for Berkeley. Berkeley's biggest problem is both keeping their players safe on approach, and also trying to make sure that their tanks stay alive when they get flagged down. And they are going to pick King's Row because King's Row is the god tier map according to pretty much everyone I've ever talked to.
yes.
And it would be a fool's errand to have someone who can play Echo as well as that and not play them on this map on defense or offense. So I'm not surprised in the slightest to see this composition. I am surprised to see the Symmetra pop out here. Do you think they're going to be doing some sort of teleporter thing?
I believe they're probably going to be going in and then teleporting either from theater onto that top right position on the defensive high ground or just somewhere else. I've seen it a few times used in other
They're the
games,
swaps.
but
Okay, so they're looking at Hanzo Reaper. That's a lot of burst damage. What do you think they're looking for that?
it's a lot of burst damage. They probably were thinking that Utah was going to be running a Reinhardt, but they're still going to be running that Winston Diva, so it's easier just to come in here, but it's more if you get counter dived or counter rushed.
Oh, and there's
or
the
Cool
pick off
ABC
again
gets
from above.
another pick.
Yeah, they need to defend from that aerial attack. Like, they almost got ABC that time, but really, that you saw the surrounding area on that kill. He had no support there. He was completely caught off guard, I think, and that's something that's going to have to be fixed from here on out. And they're still Cool ABC is such a distraction. They're actually going to dive Cool ABC here, and if they make it out, it's going to be a tough time. And Andy gets picked off by a headshot from Hanzo. That is unfortunate, and another one too, taking out early bits of DPS.
Yeah, and he's been
Oh
trying to
my
set in that
goodness.
Dragon Strike to deny res, and he actually kills Andy after he gets res. Is not able to get the Mercy though. But it looks like it will be a fight win here for California Berkeley.
Yeah, Berkeley does burst their way through. And again, I'm fairly confident that that has a lot to do with the burst DPS. Like, just putting Hanzo and Reaper on essentially what appears to be tank duty
Yeah.
is not a bad choice at all if you just want to get the tanks out of the way and done with. Because I think their solution, honestly, is to burst through the team. It's the same solution you have for Pharah. If you can run past Pharah and kill her team, she's useless.
Oh, 100%. And I think the angle that Lime took in that last fight on the statue was disgusting.
Oh no, here we go. Misses the pin. Cool ABC really wanted to get that the free Earth Shatter off of a pin. Didn't quite get it. And he's going to wait for the shield to come down so that they can pin. Oh, and they lost their Reinhardt Earth Shatter and got a little too aggressive in the front, perhaps, with Berkeley picking off Koblar, the compatriot of Cool ABC. And it seems like Utah is going to be starting to lose members left and right as Zombie gets burst down, Dog gets burst down. Cool ABC does get a kill on the reverse, but it's not going to be enough because, again, it's just her and Sonic. That if that's all you have in the front, they can keep pushing here. Though Bob is going to come down onto the cart, stalling for the team to respawn, which is an excellent play. And I am very pleased to see them use the ultimate for that method because they did kind of lose the fight there, and now they're going to be able to recover in time to have as close to a fair fight as possible. Spotlight, I don't think that's what you intended to do.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Oh my god, did he get it? That's amazing. Use the boot from I believe that was Winston, to just launch himself onto the back end. That is some quick decision making there. And Seven having some trouble grabbing Utah. The Dragons plus the Graviton Surge, that will do it. And just for a little bit more overkill, we're going to toss down a bomb as well. Cool ABC will pick up the kill onto Spotlight, but I don't think it's going to be enough because, again, they're in the situation where the time Cool ABC has the room to make the frags, they get the kills there. Though both DPSs are here to make some danger, and they have the background healing, so they might be able to hold until their tanks get back.
Oh, so I believe you've cursed California Berkeley twice already.
Yeah, I have.
Already.
I have.
As 2 times now. They just have not been able to finish a push, and Utah's been able to come back. And I think partially it's because Cool ABC has been getting that duplicate up so quick, but it is going to be a nice fight win here, hopefully, from Berkeley.
No, this is pretty this is a pretty universal wipe of the team. So aside from this wrecking ball, they should have the room to push. I was impressed by how much Utah was able to stall. Honestly, I think it's not that. I think that Berkeley was actually just giving ABC the respect they've kind of earned in this match, and just making sure that they don't get fragged from behind or anything like that. And it is paying dividends. They still have 2 minutes, and they're about to push onto it. It's one fight territory from getting the second point, so it's not exactly a bad thing for them. Though they did burn a lot of time that way, and that was more or less Utah's objective.
Yeah, and I'm just going to throw Bob on here onto the point for stall, and it looks like it's going to do enough as Cool ABC is going to get a quick 2K. Zombie as well going to get a pick, and it's going to be a quick reset from Cal.
Yeah, that was a wipe. They did the whole we're gonna Mercy boost and Nano boost Cool ABC here, and that just gives more than enough DPS to put down targets. Though, they do have enough time to come back once, maybe twice, so they should be fine here. Ultimates as well are looking very, very nice. Assuming Blue Boss is able to build their ultimate up and well enough, Utah has generally, aside from ABC, been able to group up a lot pretty close to each other, though the spacing has been rather good as of late. because the map kind of benefits them on that. Koblar does go down, and an immediate ultimate goes out to try to support his teammates. Doesn't seem to catch anybody, though, as Zombie is going to just spread bombs all over the point, and they're going to try to frag down Ryan here. Utah does get the Ryan out of the way. The bombs prevent him from getting support, and that's probably going to be a Utah win on that fight. And I believe Berkeley has one more minute left here before they have to really worry about overtime. I would love that bomb play. They saw that Reinhardt was in a position where he was technically split from his team, and Wrecking Ball made that wall official.
Yeah, and there's a great fight there going into this last fight.
Oh,
Kool-Aid
no.
not going to worry about any time.
That is beautiful. Reinhardt from above, an Earthshatter that doesn't quite get the targets that they wanted, but my goodness, that is frightening. A counter Earthshatter gets Echo off of their feet, and it is thankfully countered for Berkeley. But my goodness, that was frightening. Seven got knocked way out of position, overcompensated, and Utah will take advantage here. Not quite mopping up, but definitely delaying, as there are only 10 seconds left on the clock for Berkeley. I don't know if they're going to be able to touch here.
And they're gonna be sending in a diva bomb into spawn apparently already. It's not gonna get anyone, but it might just be more spacing. And yeah, Seven is not gonna be able to touch, and it's gonna be a hold on second point. I think one thing there, Berkeley they had so many ults already. They had so many ults.
Yeah, but they got to be in position to use them, right? Like those instant team wipes. I love, and the phrase that comes to mind immediately when seeing Utah's gameplay there was space making. The amount of space that they were able to make in those fights and split teammates was fantastic. The Wrecking Ball mines was fantastic when Reinhardt was out of position. An Earthshatter dropping from the sky, forcing them to back up and respect that Earthshatter. That was fantastic. These space-making plays were beautiful.
Oh, it was great play from the tanks from Utah. As you said earlier, we don't give them enough credit only because Cool ABC, again, is having another ridiculous map. And
they're having a hard time dealing with him.
They are. They don't do anything about him, really. They're trying, but like he just escapes, getting that duplicate up so quickly as well. But I don't know if King's Row was the greatest choice to go here for hybrid, only because there's so much potential to use Echo and to use Afara. You're basically playing in a Utah saying like, hey, we're challenging you. And maybe that's what they were thinking. We're challenging you. We want you to try the Echo again. And it's just not worked already.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Twin, and they're bringing out something that I was waiting for them to bring out for the longest time: double snipers. If anything is going to be taking out a Mercy Echo combo, it's going to be someone that can put them down no matter how much healing they have on them. So
I agree there.
I was expecting this to at least be tried, not necessarily succeeded, because Utah's had good coverage not just from Mercy on their Echo, but I was definitely expecting the sniper to come along eventually. And there it is. Koblar immediately gets taken out, put up like a clay pigeon. And the sniper is going to get dived by the diva as expected and taken out. But making that room, you'll note, main healer, main tank, both down from Utah. Because the off-tank had to go, essentially go dive the sniper. That's a 5v5 at that point. You're missing diva that prevents a lot of incoming burst damage. And they're going to keep on trying for this push, as the spawns are definitely in Utah's favor. But that was a good first fight. Cool ABC taken out by a sniper. Once again, you need this sort of thing to happen over and over and over again. Lime almost has their ultimate as well. They're trying to take out the Mercy. If they stagger the Mercy here, either Widowmaker or Hanzo, it's going to be a heck of a time waster for Utah.
Yeah, I was going to see Koblar now in the Widow instead of the Ashe, but that shot from Lime on the Cool ABC, I don't know if you caught it already, but it was nasty. As Lime is going to be using the Dragons here, not to any avail. Cool ABC is going to get him, and it's going to get both
ABC,
snipers.
I was going to say, ABC has had enough. It's like, all right, I understand what's happening here. That was the immediate I see now.
And he's like, all right, I see you're gonna be trying to kill me with the double snipers. All right, I'll just kill him first. That's all I need to do. As he's getting out of the Zarya, I have a feeling he missed Rhine, because that seems to be his go-to when he's duplicating. He was gonna get the grab off though, and it's gonna get one. It's gonna get the poor
Zombie
Ana.
got both bombs off too, and it's just wiping the floor with them at that point, just to give themselves the room to capture this point. Does take out Sonic. Spotlight manages to take out that Spotlight or Spotlight manages to take out Sonic. Too little, too late there, but good shot.
Yeah, maybe Sonic was maybe going in for a battle mercy here, as we're finally going to see Cool ABC going to be matching him on the double snipers going out of that Hanzo. If he is any close to good on the Hanzo as he is on that freaking Echo, it's going to be a very long game for Berkeley.
This is going to be very interesting. And Koblart takes out Lime, which is unfortunate as a starting fight here. Seven does break through the back line here, though, and picks up Sonic. Does die in the process, and Koblart will take out the other sniper as well. Both DPSs down. Unfortunately, Seven's push was beautiful, but there was no follow-up. He made the space, and then the space collapsed on him because there was no supporting beams.
Yeah, I think maybe he went in a tiny bit too far to get in that shadow. He maybe trying... Wait for them to get through that edgeway and then shatter, because it's so hard for your team to follow up without risking their own life there, and that's what happened. He got caught out. 1 or 2 people got caught out on his own team for trying to help him, and it was just a quick fight win, and now we might be going to the final win territory here for Utah as Cool ABC. Just going to be, lots of dragons in the spawn, just casually. And he's
trying to make the room, right? He's trying to, and yeah, I was saying, he's got the, a nasty sleep. Hopefully his team will be able to cover him. Koblart picks up another kill, this time onto a main healer. This is a problem for Berkeley because Koblart and company are making sure that there is no recovery possible, and Lime gets taken out as well. This is a fight that was over before it began.
Yeah, there wasn't... It goes back to what we were talking about Li Zhang. Utah tries to limit how many actual fights you will have. How many did we... Don't get me wrong. Initially, on first point, there was a good amount of fights. But once we were on this escort portion of the map, we maybe had, 2 full fights already? Yeah. Maybe 2?
Maybe. But it was... Honestly, it's a heck of a game plan, honestly, if you can pull it off. If you repeatedly go for these methods where you try to limit however many main fights as possible, if you're in that situation, that's great, and they make that happen. I think that the play here, honestly, from Utah... It was the fact that they were just able to make that large amount of space with Cool ABC and then support them. The difference was that Seven, just use Seven as an example, Berkeley also could make space with their main tank, Seven, but by the time they made that space, there was no follow-up. The supporting beams were already under attack. And by that point, it was just a mop-up. I think Utah's game plan that was so well solidified against this team was how they were able to split both.
Yeah, and I think I liked the game plan from Cal, trying to go for that double sniper look. It's just Cool ABC is like, all right, you're going to try it? I'm good. I'm just going to destroy you on Echo. And then, I'll swap on a Hanzo and get a few picks myself as well. But I think Zombie on that ball as well this map. He was on Winston for the beginning, but he was on ball for the rest of that. He had such good minefields, was making such great space so that Cool ABC could be getting those picks. And Koblart even had a good map. It kind of goes back to what we were saying. Cool ABC does take a lot of the spotlight, but Koblart isn't that bad either, man.
Yes, it doesn't mean the rest of them aren't wonderful as well. I think they're all above a 4.0 rating. And,
I think their average is about 4.3K right now.
Yeah, or something like that. Very, very, very high. And it was beautiful to watch them work. I believe, unless I'm mistaken, our next match is something to the tune of Colorado Boulder versus
University of South
USC,
California.
That's right.
Almost said Carolina.
There you go, USC. All right, USC versus Colorado. We'll be seeing them soon. We're going to see some Trojans versus Buffaloes, and that's going to be a good match as well, though perhaps a little bit more even. We shall see.
Showing off, don't wanna have to wait tonight. Better off, I'm gonna find my way tonight. Wait tonight, won't you talk to me? I wanna heal your sorrow. Won't you talk to me? We'll make a new tomorrow. Won't you talk to me? when I'm up through the night. I can't turn down the noise, say all the words out of my mind about who I'm supposed to be. I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away, they were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders, child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Maybe my compass was wrong, and I'm still on my way closer each day to where I belong. I'm still rolling the dice, praying sometimes it don't last that long. I'm losing my faith, I'm walking away from what you knew all along. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders, child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be having our second match of the day here. We're going to be having USC, University of Southern California, versus Colorado Boulder, or the Buffaloes. It's going to be an interesting match. I hope it is a little less one-sided than the one. Do you have any information regarding USC versus Colorado Boulder? I know them by reputation, but haven't experienced them personally.
Very slightly, I believe ASU, which is a school I'm currently attending, have either VOD reviewed or scrimmed both of them. Going in, Colorado has the very slight edge, but as we were talking about last match, we thought Cal was going to give a challenge, and it was just not close,
yeah,
not
it
what we
was
were
a-
expecting.
Yeah, it was absolutely brutal, and I think that this match might be a little bit more even, but then again, we thought the last one would, so we'll have to find out, won't we?
Yeah, and let's hope. And honestly, both of these teams, they're more on the up right now. They're not like
Yeah.
Utah, where Utah is a very established collegiate team right now.
Yeah.
As we just saw from that last match, they have very good players, very good recruitment. These two schools, I should say, they're on their way. I think it's more seeing now how are they doing. It's kind of more of a Cal situation.
And seeing all these teams being on their way, I'd want to reiterate that off the field or off the keyboard, whatever you want to call it, we're all kind of working together in terms of this this growth that we're trying to achieve here at PAC-U. I'm really excited to be a part of it. This is something that I've never seen tried, and I want to see this grow, see um, this universal group of teams come together and really make a awesome. Uh, Trying to avoid legal words, but
Legal words.
yeah, legal words. But I want to see these teams come together, work together, and create something beautiful. And so far, we have already. We're making history here right now, and I'm loving seeing these teams establish their reputations. We knew Utah was going to establish their reputation as a powerhouse. I want to see if there's anyone in the league that can really beat them, or at least put a challenge to them. I'm very interested to see that. We now know that Berkeley evidently is going to have to go back to the locker room figuratively and figure out something for that in the future, should they make it to the playoffs, but or should they make it to following matches.
Yeah, California is definitely going to the VOD review like, hey guys, we didn't play well. We need to just get better. But as
I
you were talking
suspect
about
it's going to be a decent construction, yeah.
Yeah. As you're talking about the community aspect, it is awesome building this community. Like, heck, I didn't know you 3 weeks ago. It's great the community we're getting to there, whether it is the players or the coaches or even the casters or even the production side of it that you guys don't see that is doing so much. By the way, thank you, production team. It's crazy that this community has kind of got together from all of these schools. It's awesome, and I hope throughout these next few weeks it's going to be great.
Yeah, this is gonna be fantastic to see. There's so much talent and so much passion that is in this crew. It is so much fun to see them work, put these things together. It is fantastic, and I would point out that we've done it all remotely too. Like I'm certainly not patting myself on the back here because it was certainly not me that did this. But our groups together as a whole, creating something as special as this by remote is fantastic.
Yeah, like I would have never thought we could have done this all remote. Like, heck, I'm in Phoenix right now from my dorm. You're in Washington.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know, the production team, we have one person from Minnesota right now. We have one person in Utah. It's crazy with the level of technology we have, but also just due to the world, due to COVID-19, we are forced to do this. But it's awesome that it did work. It's working very well, and everybody's loving it. Everybody I've talked to within this kind of community is enjoying meeting new people and just doing this. Like, this is one of my first casting gigs, and I want to say thank you to you, Artie, as well, taking me under your wing, Mr.
No,
Seasoned caster over here.
something like that. Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy bringing new people into this. I've always said that for the vast majority of people, all you have to do is get someone to watch, someone to listen to, someone to look up to. It's seeing all of these people grow, seeing all of these organizations grow at the same time while doing this. It is beautiful. It is a work of art for me to watch, and it's only going to get better from here. I think that we're probably going to be heading into this first map here, our first little bit, watching the Trojans USC versus the Boulder Buffaloes. I want to see what they'll run because we got a major surprise in the first one, you know?
Yeah, I wonder. We are going to be going to Lijiang, so I wonder if we're going to be going more of that Utah look of that Winston Diva, or if we're going more for that Ryan Zari look that Cal tried to pull out, and it just.
Well, you know, we are running Lijiang, like you say. It's going to be Lijiang each time, so it's going to be interesting to see what exactly gets run here. We're going to have our people go through here. We're going to have our compositions in 15 seconds. I think their people are pretty far up in terms of rank as well, as to be expected of teams in their region. I don't know if anyone necessarily has this on the top of their minds, but this particular region, the PAC-U, is not an easy region to play in.
No, it is definitely not an easy region to play in, and I think going to Control Center here, you may see a more niche comp, as right now both Fanout and Azaya are going to be running that Junkrat. It seems to be a comp kind of rolling around right now, and with that Sim Teleport in, some teams just use it to get in, some may use it Also, it's just hey, we're just gonna be using it all the way through, going into that white room and just trying to beat down your shields instantly. So we'll have to
It looks
see,
like they're just setting up for a speed boost. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Oh, never mind.
Or
Here we
maybe
go.
not.
Birdlaw is gonna run right in and gonna see. I assume it is for the essentially the shield burn.
yeah, shield burn, and then if anybody pokes their head out a little bit too much, you're just gonna be slowing down, and that Junkrat of them is just gonna be bowling you down, as well as the shield of the opposite team.
Yeah, Funk is getting a lot of damage thrown at him, and he's kind of worrying about his shield here, though so many from USC get shredded almost immediately. The DPS essentially got past the Reinhardt shield and got free reign on the enemy team, and I don't think they're expecting them to just kind of walk in from the side. That side coverage essentially got broke down immediately, and those kills just came in for free, it felt like. I don't know if you saw Isaiah's position, but it was just essentially right next to the Reinhardt, just behind him by about 15 degrees.
Yeah, he's just chilled. They're like, all right, if you really want to hit me, push.
Hold on for a second. We're going to burst Isaiah immediately, and we're going to use both support ultimates here and Symmetra's ult, and that will be enough to just wipe the team immediately. They, from what I could tell, they just speed boosted in there, burst 3 ultimates, and just decided to run forward swinging, and it worked out for them.
Yeah, both supporters came up from Boulder just to try and defend against USC's push. So going into this next fight, USC is going to have that shatter, maybe a late grab, and also a coalescence for Boulder, a late Junkrat, but also a shatter, and then maybe a grab if this fight is very elongated, but you never know. These fights have been very short so far.
Yeah, but right now it's very strange to see Isaiah kind of sit in the back line here and run the bomb. Apparently they just don't need it.
Huge.
Apparently they just didn't need the tire. I kind of wish I was able to see what happened there. Because...
Yeah, we were kind of focusing on Isaiah's Riptire, and all of a sudden, yeah, fuck Messer. Oh, you don't get the highlight on me? I'm just going to get a double with my Fire Strike. No biggie, we're going to win that fight.
I mean, I honestly just expected the initiation to come from Junkrat. There is the ultimate that had to be coming. That is a perfect trap right at the door. Everyone should be dying, but it's Parzival that dies first. And as will the main tank. Unfortunately for them, those shields held up. They were not able to dump as much damage as they wanted to. Boulder now on full retreat, and essentially Isaiah wanting to delay as long as possible, and the shotgun will make sure that's about 0.5 seconds.
And it was a great, I don't know if you saw it, but it's a great counter grab from Patriot. Kind of just locking like, hey, you're staying here, you're not getting out when this grab's about to end. And also a great sound barrier from Pronk. Parzival, because of the push from USC earlier in the game, didn't have it for that grab,
what a shatter. Did not have the shield up in time, and a tire is going to come out and burst them again. That fight will end right before it begins.
Yeah, a very quick fight. Not sure if the coalescence was needed from Hanzo, but you got to do what you got to do. At least coalescence is one of the quickest ults you can get in the game currently, even after the nerf she got a while back. Going to this next fight, both support ults for Colorado Boulder. Going to have Shatter from USC as well as
I saw that.
Colorado.
I don't know if you saw that, but the Reaper just walked into their backline, and yet again their side coverage is non-existent.
Yeah,
I've been watching so far. They've essentially allowed the left or right side of the point, depending on your side, to be basically uncontested.
Yeah, a huge Riptire there from Isaiah, just saying like, yeah, no, you're not gonna have a final fight. That's it.
Yeah, no,
that's all you're gonna get.
They looked for the speedy individuals, and Ruby will kill the Wrecking Ball. That tire will kill the Lucio, and that will be that. I think, honestly, it was a very even fight, aside from the singular detail that Southern California never covered the right flank. Not once.
Yes, no, they never had a Junkrat. Even if you just have a Junkrat trap over there, then you at least know, hey, if it's broken, somebody's over there. Or if it gets
just somebody
activated.
watching it. Like, the only person that was closest to that right side flank was Moira, who died because she's supporting her team. That's not her job.
Yeah, it was just poor play from USC, and perhaps to Colorado noticing the issue there, knowing that they're not gonna be covering that right side, as Patriots gonna be on.
I'm very interested. I was gonna say they're running a double shield with Symmetra Reaper. I think they're just going for shield burn. They're going to outlast Boulder here. They're gonna outlast the Buffalo.
And Colorado as well has Isaiah on the Farah. No real counter from USC, but if she's going to be trying to get into that little box area that is this point, going to be beamed down from the sim turrets.
Yeah, and then they're doing their best to take out those as well. Isaiah being on the Pharah is very interesting, though. The change of composition intriguing, though. Funkmaster unfortunately dies before they even have the Earth Shatter. And that's going
What
to
a
end the fight
shot
immediately.
from Sim! Oh
Yeah,
my
I was gonna say, this
goodness.
Sim manages to land a shot onto Isaiah, and not only that, but the entirety of Boulder kind of collapsed immediately there. And USC showing that they're not out of the fight yet, not by a long shot.
Definitely not. I think partially as we're gonna see Ruby swap onto the Diva here, not expecting the Rhine Sigma. It is more of just a normal competitive comp that you see when you're doing your online ladder. Not something you see in competitive very often, even in collegiate. But also the Pharah just not getting a huge amount of value, especially when you have your Symmetra hitting those kind of shots, as Funkmaster is going to be kind of too far in, as the Coalescence is going to grind him and Ruby, and it's going to be a very quick fight win for USC.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seemed like those two tanks were alone, did it not?
Yeah,
they
maybe
had
just a
one person behind them.
miscommunication for Boulder there.
Yeah, I think that might have been, and I suspect that might have actually been team communication, because Isaiah has the bird's eye view, as it were.
Yeah,
You'd think they had the communication to say, "Hey, you're alone out there," but apparently not. And USC capitalizing on that. This fight's going to begin, and they're looking for that barrage, and the immediate stun and sound barrier will make sure that's just not a thing. And Reaper is just going to walk forward on the USC side, shooting everyone in the way.
Yeah, it was great isolation there from USC. Just knowing that, yes, Isaiah and Parzival are on the flank, but that means only 4 of them are together. And, you know, Reaper can just be like, have a heyday with it. That's all he has to do. Just go in there.
Not to mention that they essentially started the fight. Oh dear.
Oh no. Isaiah.
You ran out of boost.
What a
And the stun.
rock.
Almost got him. Almost got him. That would have been
It
amazing.
hit him,
though.
but because Valak was popped. But I think
No,
Isaiah
it's all
just
good.
ran out of
Yeah,
fuel.
it looked like they ran out of fuel, mismanaged. But that's going to be an advantage for Boulder, for the Buffalo, if they can take advantage of it. But it is overtime, and unfortunately, a Reaper triple kill will end that swiftly. And they are going to try to counter ult here. They do get Bird Law, but it is far too little, far too late. As I would say, the MVP of that round was definitely Fan Out.
Oh, 100% fan out, but you could even say the main tank, I can't remember his name right now, we'll be able to see in a second, but the Reinhardt had a fantastic twang, had a very fantastic game just keeping them at bay, making sure that, hey, we're going to catch them out if they're pushing too hard. That's where we saw the early pick on Funkmaster and Ruby, but also like, hey, if you want to push through the stroke, then you're going to be hitting the sim turrets anyway.
Another thing that was actually fantastic as well was the fact that Twang didn't have to worry about the aerial DPS because Patriot was covering them. It's kind of an unsung story because obviously nothing happens if he does it right. But
Yeah.
but I think that was amazing. Isaiah's actually going to switch over to Tracer, which in theory might make Sigma's life a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen a Sombra really at all
but
tonight.
there's the Symmetra teleport into the top. Yeah, no, it seems like Sombra's not really their taste, and that's what it's going to be. D is trying really hard to make sure that the fan out doesn't have an opportunity, but an orb from Birdlaw will put down that idea swiftly. Funkmaster also has a lot of damage on them, and this dive comp is not working out against this double shield idea. Too much damage, and it seems like they get scattered very, very quickly. USC did it, or excuse me, the Buffaloes got scattered rather quickly that time.
Yeah, with this tank composition with the Winston Diva, you're either going to be running full dive or full rush. And you're not going to be able to run rush through this only because of that Symmetra and the Reaper. They're just going to punish you as soon as you push in. And the same thing goes with the dive, so I don't know, it's just does not match up well with what the other team are running.
Yeah, USC will immediately get another kill, though the main healer immediately goes down alongside Birdlaw. They're making this interesting, and it does appear that Isaiah's DPS is assisting quite mightily in this fight. They're not getting any of the kills, but the amount of time that Isaiah got to spend spreading DPS across this entire field without much challenge was partially what won the Buffalo this fight, and Trojans are going to have to retreat here as they have no more left. However, almost every single one of them, I think every single one of them will have an ultimate for this next fight. They can just press Q to win, though I imagine they'll try to keep that war chest at least half full.
Yes. The goal is maybe to use 2 to 3 ults at a max here for USC. Also depends. Colorado is going to have the Primal and the Pulse Bomb. Granted, Isaiah's Pulse Bomb is more if he can actually hit it, and Funk is going to be more just stall, as he is going to try and get some boops here as Fano is going to get a single kill onto Isaiah, as well as a pick onto Moira, and it's going to be a very quick fight win here for USC.
I'd say the biggest issue in that initial fight is that Funkmaster made space but wasn't able to make use of the Primal Rage. Aside from that, it feels like it was triggered a little bit early, as there's a lot of cliffs that you can use in that particular scenario. Waiting for them to come out might have been the play, but of course hindsight is 2020. We're going to see a rotate. It seems a little confused. There is someone on the left there, and
maybe
Isaiah's
waiting for
trying
Isaiah to get a pick here on the pulse bomb. But as we were talking about, USC, they used 5 ults that fight. Like, the one thing we said they should not do.
They can't hear us though. And D is going to pull out another ultimate, putting a lot of DPS on the field, but no kills and almost no support. The healing might not be enough. They do get out successfully, but Parzival will have to sacrifice their life to make it happen. Ruby is also down back into Baby Diva form. That is unfortunate. They will go down immediately, and the Reaper DPS has been high, but the Moira coverage from USC, Anzolo making a very, very good example of managing Moira's healing juices, as it were.
Yeah, so Patriot's going to swap onto that Diva, but I think Patriot's the unsung hero of that fight. When that Death Blossom is going out, he's just grasping the entire thing, knowing that they have it, and the Rhine was blocking the rest of the team. It was great communication from USC.
Yeah, we're in one fight territory, and Twang gets an ultimate onto 2 of them. They immediately fall, and this fight is well over, as they didn't really have enough time. The Colorado Boulder team didn't really have enough time to fully set up an attack there. We're just trying to stagger. They didn't have enough time to really set up to try to win back that map, and USC will win the first map. That was honestly a fairly good performance by both teams, though, except for the last bit there.
Yeah, honestly, it was a very good play from both teams. Definitely a lot closer than our first match of the day. As we see, a fantastic play here from Funkmaster. Too bad it really did not work out for him. But
I was gonna say, I would love to credit both main tanks of this particular group here, because they honestly played really, really well.
oh, honestly, both main tanks, and I think Patriot is the unsung hero of this USC team. As a off-tank player, I know how hard it is just to resist. Like, okay, you gotta save your defense matrix, you gotta save your not your gravitic flux, but your grasp. You gotta make sure you know in your head, like, hey, they're gonna have that Death Blossom coming up, and I know the Reinhardt on my team is not gonna be able to protect my whole team. So as soon as the enemy Reaper is coming with that Death Blossom, he's grasping it. Granted, he dies later on in that fight, but I think it's enough stall where the rest of his team can capitalize on it as soon as the Death Blossom is over.
Yeah, this was honestly, it was a good match. It really, I think it ended on a good note, and I think both, and the best part about it is that neither team should be rattled from this. I think both teams overall performed rather well. I think it kind of fell up. I think that the Buffalo kind of fell apart a little bit at the very, very end of the match. But that's because they were scrambling. They had to scramble that last fight there, and I think that USC took full advantage.
Yes, you could tell we were kind of talking about it before they were pushing in, like, hey, they don't know what they're doing. They didn't know if they were going to be pushing on bridge side or through the inside, and it was just bad. It was just bad communication, and then you see the Winston dive in by himself, and it's like, all right, easy pick.
I mean,
and
it wasn't.
It
well, I would
just
actually
goes
point
on
out,
from there.
I would clarify on that Winston kill, actually, because it wasn't that Winston necessarily dived in alone. There was a little bit that I thought was rather interesting, was that Winston didn't dive in alone because his team was following him up. What happened was that he didn't actually successfully dive in. He was leaping onto them, and Lucio booped him straight up.
Oh, yep, that is true.
He booped him straight up, which made him, and then everyone said pull. and
yeah, just Winston, like, all right, fire.
Winston got fragged out of his mind. It seems like we're going to have Kings Row again for our second map here, and I know everyone loves Kings Row. This time it's less of a disadvantage for one of the teams, but I'm interested to see what people pull out, because both teams have lovely squads. Honestly, all of them generally perform their duties fairly well. I would point out that it only took one map for for the USC team to just decide, hey, we're not going to leave that flank open anymore.
Yeah, it was very clear, like, hey, all right, maybe it's just the rust. You never know. And maybe it was just the rust. We are going into Kings Row here. Not going to have someone like ABC from the last game just on the Echo as a known Echo threat. So I'm kind of curious if we're going to get more of that double sniper action that we got late in the last match.
We've got some fun stuff here.
We got some
actually.
very interesting composition from Colorado Boulder, but granted, they are in spawn, so they can switch it up whenever they like.
But I am excited to say the least. Isaiah is going to stick to. It looks like they just do Junkrat Tracer sort of things, and I'm excited for that. They seem to perform fairly well. Their team eventually fell apart, but they were kind of throwing their bombs out in generally the right locations to burst down shields. That was kind of their main objective, seemingly. I am excited to see Fanout's aim here because it seemed fairly good previously.
Yeah, it seemed fairly good as Birdlaw is going to swap off of the far.
Oh, almost catches the Lucio.
Almost
there.
There
it is.
He does get. What a pick!
What?
And there's no mercy
so
for
surprised.
California. And USC, I should say. So right now, Boulder is just going to be pressing W.
I am so surprised that Lucio challenged that Widow.
That was very ballsy from Parzival, but we kind of saw him like pre-match, like, hey, he's just kind of messing around here, as it looks like Boulder is going to be kind of just waiting for the Reinhardt to get back, as he did get picked very early in that fight.
Yeah, what an anti-heal, too, forcing the team to go back. They wanted to push up without their main tank and wait for that main tank to come behind, but they had to wait for the main tank because of the anti-heal. They're going to push in right here, right now. The anti-heal does go out, it does get cleansed. Birdlaw will be the first to fall down. Fanout is kind of waiting with that hack and putting DPS into the backline. They finally get touched by Lucio, and it will have the Funkmaster finally go down, but at the sacrifice of the majority of Fanout's team. Unfortunately, it was not quite enough to get Southern California out of their pocket. I think it was rather interesting, though, that they were able to push in, have so much DPS, and I think it seemed like the team kind of just scattered to their own targets. And we have an invisible. I hope
we have an invisible coalescence.
I sincerely hope that's not an invisible coalescence for the players. That'd be unfortunate.
That'd be quite interesting, as it does get one. The Tire does get nothing, and the Shatter is Wolfram Twang isn't going to get anything. Colorado putting all their eggs in one basket.
So many ults. Oh my goodness, that was a.
What an ult from Danny D.
Danny D pulling it right back. You thought you won this fight. Surprise, I am still around and I am here for the 4K. You do not have this point.
Sprays.
Yeah, I was to say,
no,
that was
Colorado.
It was taken completely out. I think they thought that they had the point one. I don't think they thought that the Reaper was there and also there with the Death Blossom. That looked like they were caught completely by surprise.
Oh, they definitely had the guard down. And now there's two instances this map where they're kicking themselves. It's that initial push where they couldn't take advantage of Lucio being down, and also they're putting their guard down and just what a play from the team, man.
Yeah, it's on over till it's over. Isaiah will set up Southern California for another instant win here with that triple kill, though. That's a team kill immediately. And perhaps maybe one too many ultimates used, but it did win them the fight again, so I suppose that there's something to be said about that. Yeah,
this next fight's probably going to be a dry fight, except maybe for a Shadow from Funkmaster. As we said, that last fight from Colorado, they used, I think, every single ult that they had, as we are going to see PAC-U swapping onto that D.Va, where I think he is definitely more comfortable on that D.Va or Sigma role. We'll have to see. Maybe Hanzolo will get a coalescence.
And there's the hack on the Funkmaster. They have their ultimate, but they do not have the health. They are trying so hard to survive, and Honest trying to keep them alive. They are kept alive successfully and get a Shatter out to catch the Reaper off guard. They do Shadow step out of there. Daddy D does get 2 kills, but it's not going to do a whole lot for Southern California, as the fight is more or less won by that point. They're already on the retreat.
What are you doing?
What happened?
He swapped onto the Sigma and then swapped back onto the D.Va, so there goes about 30 to 40% ult charge. So
probably a miscommunication with
yeah,
and that happens sometimes.
It happens, but it might be the difference of having D.Va bomb at the end if it does go into OT and not having it, which again just kicking themselves.
And there's the speed boost into the Shatter, does catch 2 enemy people off guard, and as they try to cover their teammates, they use it as bait to EMP. That is a beautiful combo play there, and it does catch them, and unfortunately the only person that could sit around and surprise them would be a Tire, and that Tire is now gone. They decided we're not going to get caught off guard a second time.
Yeah, I will say, please don't cast a curse this. Please don't do it, Artie. We can't do it again.
No, I am a bender of fate. They will bend to my will.
But yes, they will bend to our will. I'm learning the ways of Artie. All these weeks of practice and spell bending in Discord has been working fantastic.
There you go.
There we should say, USC's been trying to hold in this initial corridor here. It is the advantage of dying very early, not really having those back spawns, as we've been trying to set up a grab here with the tire.
They're trying to set up a grab. They have the tire already going out. They catch two, the main tank and the Reaper, and that's just going to wipe that fight at the very beginning, and they're just going to sit outside spawn here for a little bit. And it's been interesting because as the caster sitting here, most of these fights actually haven't lasted very long. They've been about 5 to 10 seconds to decide whether the fight is won or lost by a specific team, and that's kind of interesting because the rest of it is just mop-up.
And I've also realized that I believe, from our point of view, the top bars are swapped, so just so everybody knows at home, blue is Colorado, and red is USC. I just would like to clarify that. I've just realized that on my end now, as Patriot's going to be eating grab from Ruby. Maybe Daddy's going to try and look for a Death Blossom here. Probably not, though, with the EMP and everything else coming out. It's going to be a fight win for USC, but I was wondering if it was like, I swear Patriot was playing for USC. Like, I swear he wasn't playing for Colorado.
Yeah, I just realized that too. I just kept on spewing my mouth. Yeah, good catch.
Hey, it's all right. We've clarified it. So, sorry. Right now, USC is pushing the payload with less than a minute left, going on to B with Diva Bomb, Shatter coming up for Colorado. God, this is gonna be bad. They're gonna have Death Blossom and they're gonna have Shatter as well. So maybe just who's gonna get the Shatter off initially?
Oh, what a beautiful
weird
bomb
Diva
placement!
Bomb.
Oh, the bomb coverage actually covered that Earth Shatter. I don't think that was meant as a defensive play, but it ended up being one.
Yeah, it ended up being a very defensive play, as Colorado's actually just pressing W here, using what a Shatter. Never mind, maybe this fight isn't done.
No, they're anti. They're not going to be able to cover this. They may have had a beautiful Earth Shatter, but it was in vain because, not as a defensive play necessarily, but that anti made very sure that they would not be able to push up.
As we go final fight territory here, as USC is going to have this EMP on their side, but that's really about it. Isn't it coming?
And they're going to burst it immediately just to murder Funkmaster. That was the only objective of that ultimate.
Yeah, it's like, all right, Master, you're dying, and Ruby, you're going on a mech if you like it or not. As kind of overtime here, it looks like it should be going USC's way, as I appreciate production with the very hot fix onto the top bar. I appreciate you guys. So right now we're gonna have just over a minute for USC to cap third point. Isaiah's just chilling up on high ground, ready to get that cheeky tire, as he has
really
a few times tonight. For
and
USC, gonna have Coalescence, both support ults, and you're gonna have Death Blossom.
They know.
They know. Almost falls off.
They know.
Run.
Alright, yeah, I know. Oh, there's the hack onto Ruby, and that will be the first target, though they're not going to be able to do too much with it. Causing them to not be able to interfere too much was a good plan. Unfortunately, Fanout's going to have a hard time getting more DPS on. They're going to have the defense matrix up as they send out the bomb, and a sound barrier will cover them as well as a shield, but Coalescence cannot cover Isaiah from the wrath of Moira.
Was that a
beautiful Earth Shatter doesn't. Yeah, the Earth Shatter goes out, but it doesn't actually get very much. The bomb does force them back, loses about 1,000 health with that burst. Though the coverage from the massive amount of healing.
What an EMP.
Is beautiful. That is a beautiful EMP coming down. They're going to try to push up, get Funkmaster immediately, trying their best. Isaiah is going to essentially send out a tire as coverage, more or less. Does not successfully kill anybody because the tire does get shredded, and Illicit will make sure, along with Daddy D, that this push is over.
Yeah, great ult from Daddy D. Don't get me wrong, Isaiah's tire did not get anybody, but it did make USC push back, and I was about to say that was an interesting death.
The role reversal Ruby just gave to the. Did Ruby dive down there and?
I don't know. I think Progmaster was going up on high ground all the way around, trying to touch point, and Ruby's just like, nah, I'm booping you. You're going down.
It's not a map completion, but they did get it pretty far down the line. They do have to make it just about to the end.
Yeah, it's basically, hey, if you cap it, you win. But King's Row is a very stallable map as well, especially with as many boops on that little whale. Where, Lucio fell down there. Oh no.
Yeah.
But you can boop a lot of people there, especially if you go Ball or Lucio and you're just going around the payload. It's not going to end up well for you, as we are going to see Colorado Boulder attacking now. And I thank you, observers. That's a very good shot. I don't know if I've ever looked on there already.
Yeah. No, it's the Omnic City down there. The Omnic
It's the
Forest.
Omnic City, the Omnic Underground.
Yeah, and I would say that back onto strategy, I'm interested to see what they do about the absolute targeting of Funkmaster, because they have clearly demonstrated that they're willing to put an entire EMP down just to ruin his day. And I'm interested to see what the counter is to that, because ultimately they need to keep Funkmaster alive. When Funkmaster's been alive, they've run things pretty nicely.
I agree there, and it's also interesting to see they've had Isaiah on this Junkrat the entire map so far. So it's a very niche pick, but it can definitely work right now. Junkrat is not in a horrible spot. I just don't think he's played at a very high level usually, just due to how many higher ceiling characters there are in the game.
Yeah, and Isaiah is going to get chased down as the last person out is going to bomb his way out. And they're trying their absolute best to kind of burst through this front area, but so far unsuccessful. Not even by kills, just by damage. They need to back up and manage their way through. Ryan is going to come back now, make some room for Colorado, but it's not actually doing a whole lot. This hacked health pack is doing some work, though Birdlaw is losing all of the health in the world, and suddenly everyone who is at low health gets bursted. They see that too many targets were lit up, and the Buffaloes capitalized very quickly.
Yeah, it was a very good push there. I don't think USC was expecting them just to speed in like that and just like, all right, you're in our space. We're just going to take it. We don't care what you're doing. We don't care if you have a Sombra with a health pack. We're just going to run you over. So right now, Colorado Boulder going to be having just a very good time bank right now, pushing into second point with a little over 5 minutes. Going to have that Tiger again, both support ults. On the other side for USC, EMP comes
what a
out
beautiful
and gets
hack.
3.
That is a beautiful hack, and the coverage does come down a little bit late as it does take out the main tank of USC, which is going to make some problems. And we're going to have to wait for this. They have both ultimates.
Huge.
What a shatter! They're going to rush in, gets a perfect flame strike. That defense matrix comes in about 0.5 seconds too late.
Somebody got to push payload, though, guys. Come
Yeah,
on
no,
now.
they
You
forgot.
guys have played Overwatch long enough.
Yeah, no. Someone had to run back. They got it.
There you go.
But no, making that space is very, very important on this corridor because you can get stuck here pretty quickly. So they're trying to make the space so that
100%.
they can weave through and make it last fight territory on the second point, which is a much easier fight to take on offense than I would say good players in a corridor.
Yeah. And I would say it was great awareness from Funkmaster, knowing that Twang he went down very early in that fight.
Hold
So
that
like,
thought for a
"Alright,
second.
free
That is
shatter."
a beautiful, beautiful drop down onto the Graviton Surge. It doesn't actually do very much because of a sound barrier, but a
Huge
shatter plus a
tire.
tire was beautiful on the recovery. They had to burn more ultimates than they wanted, but they definitely got the win in the end. These combos have been beautiful from both teams.
I now understand why Colorado has picked Kings Row. This seems to be a map where they have practiced religiously. Like, all right, we know exactly what we're going to be doing in these fights. We're going to be pushing this way, using our Junkrat. Daddy D has also had a very good game so far.
Oh,
I don't know
Twang
if
is
we
in a
can say
trap.
enough.
Twang is in a trap. Can they
Twang's
cover
in
him?
a
Not
trap,
quite.
no!
Funmaster's actually doing all right, but there's another EMP on the horizon, but they're not going to use it as the team kind of gets pushed out of position. I would say that Junkrat trap actually kind of ruined the push.
It ruined the momentum of the push. They're like, what do we do? Ryan,
What do we do?
You can't move.
Well, because you almost never get stuck in a Junkrat trap.
Isaiah.
And
Isaiah.
destroying Moira late. I don't even know how that happened, but apparently Isaiah is on Junkrat for a reason.
It seems to be, as we were talking about earlier, with the Echo, just kind of the niche pick. It seems to be Junkrat is Isaiah's very niche pick. Right now, Fano just getting ready for that EMP, waiting for his team to get ready. Looks like right now
Oh,
she's
and
solid
here it is. They are
4-man.
not prepared, and the Earth Shatter immediately afterward. That is a beautiful play, immediately taking out 3 members of the Buffalo. That is going to be a reset for Colorado Boulder. That was a beautiful EMP Shatter. That could not have been better done by the Owlmen themselves.
And a huge thing there from Fanout's EMP, making sure he got Parzival. If you don't get Parzival with the EMP, he's just going to sound barrier instantly and save his entire team and maybe swing it back to Colorado's favor. But going to this next fight, USC does have 3 ults as Fanout
You see him almost take out the
Widow.
teleporter.
Maybe he's like, all right, Isaiah, you've had enough. I can't let you have the high
What
ground.
a shot onto
Great
Illicit,
pick.
setting up the fight for his team's favor, but the main tank being taken out immediately by Southern California is going to make things relatively even. A bomb going out gets 2 kills by both teams. Never mind, 2 bombs are out at the same time. We have Daddy D pulling out of Death Blossom. We have both teams pulling out Death Blossom. Both teams pulling out bombs. So many ultimates launched at the same time. And honestly, it's just wreckage by the end. Both Reapers trying to take each other out now. The Wrecking Ball is now on the point, trying to do something. They have plenty of time. I'm surprised the swap was not a rush pick. So I'm interested to see what exactly they want to do with it. Maybe they're trying to make some room. Fanout switches back over to a Tracer now. There's a lot of counter swaps happening all of a sudden. And I'm here for it.
I think the big thing there, I don't think Twang was realizing how good of a contest Birdlaw was going to be able to do. Parzival is going to be using the sound barrier here.
And they're going to push up with this. You know they're pushing up with it. They have the Coalescence as well. Only an EMP can save them, and they have no EMP to speak of.
They're going to see 9.
They're going to see 9. Take it out immediately. They might just. Well, see. Hold on.
Well, maybe not.
They are covering it. They're covering it. There are kills going back and forth. Main tank down. Twang is out of this fight, so he will not get the Earth Shatter that would have turned this fight around. Birdlaw is desperately saying, "Please heal me. I have Death Blossom." I have Death Blossom, but it turns out they will not need it, as they have finally wasted the personnel resources of Boulder long enough for them to need to go back, reset. They still have 2 minutes to win this.
Yeah, I think it's great from USC. They're knowing, like, hey, if we even trade, we have spawn advantage, that's okay. It's not like we're in a control map where if you trade, it's iffy. You know, it's still a 50-50 game depending on who is alive for each team. But for them, it's like, all right, if we're going to be fighting a 3-on-3, just let us stall for a few seconds, and it's going to be a 5-on-3 very quickly.
Daddy D unfortunately taking out the D.Va early, and they immediately send out the bomb. Multiple ultimates going out. Birdlaw getting 2, Attire getting 1. The kills are important on both sides. Both teams have lost both of their tanks. It is just DPS is flying around. Never mind, there's 1 tank still up. No, there isn't. Not anymore. What was Funkmaster? Never heard of him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all right. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Focusing down Funkmaster is a very key win condition here for USC. Yes, for USC. Sorry, I was about to say Boulder. It just, if you can get down that shield, it just allows your DPS and your own Orion just to do so much. As I don't know if we realized it earlier, Fanout did swap back onto the Sombra and off of the Widow. Going to this next fight, Colorado going to have 3 ults as well as California.
Oh, and they're going to rush with the sound barrier. They're moving in. They are launching their ultimates for the shatters go out on both sides. Neither of them get anything. The bomb goes out too, and the coverage comes back. Funkmaster comes back and covers his team. But Daddy D takes advantage of the situation of his team backing up, them pushing forward a little bit too confident. Daddy D rushes forward with the rest of his team and puts out a Death Blossom, making very sure that the recovery will be non-existent from USC. Boulder will win, and we will go to a map 3 for the first time.
All right, we got a good series here already. It was great comeback from Colorado. Just keeping the mindset like, hey, granted, yes, we did go into this, I believe, 4 to 5 minutes on the clock, if I'm not mistaken. But just, all right, we just slowly, even if we don't win it right away, you're getting very low on that time bank going into OT. But knowing that, hey, we had the ability to go into this with that much time, we are able to win this. We have to stay positive, stay confident, and know, hey, trust in our players, trust in our ability, and just go from there.
I agree. The mental fortitude was actually wonderful to watch, because some teams would get discouraged. Even with the 2 minutes on the time bank, the way they were held like that, they might have gotten discouraged. But they turned around. I would love to comment right now. Both teams have run beautiful combos, beautiful ability
combos.
Beautiful ability combos, beautiful ultimate combos. And just the synergy between these teams, between their teammates, they are fantastic. And I would love to see more of this. I can't wait to see what they want to do on an actual payload map.
Oh, it's going to be, depending on the payload map, I'm guessing we're going to see a lot more Junkrat, which
I want to see Eldorado. I want to see Isaiah on
insane.
I want to see Isaiah on Dorado so badly. You have no idea.
Please let it be Dorado. Okay, cast a curse it right now.
Yeah.
It's Dorado.
Yeah,
please.
I want
for
our
our entertainment's sake, we want Dorado.
Yeah, no, but Dorado would actually be really, really interesting, because I would love to see. There's one niche pick that I haven't seen yet from the 4 teams that we've seen so far today, and Dorado might pull it out. I haven't seen a May.
That Trying to think.
I know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we've seen a May today.
Nope. And it's not like May is god tier or anything like that. But as a niche pick, we've been seeing a lot of niche picks lately. So I kind of expect to start seeing these weirder characters pop around.
Yeah, like who knew we were gonna see Echo just clean house?
Yeah, not just see Echo, but see Echo clean house. Yeah.
And then don't get me wrong, Junkrat hasn't been as much of a clean house, but it's been enough to win Colorado maps.
Yeah, these have been some very powerful tires, and breaking news, we're on Havana, which
double snipers, baby.
Yeah, I want to see. I'm interested whether it'll be a double snipers match or both teams are like, all right, bombs everywhere. I don't know which they'll pick because both teams seem capable of both. Though I will say that Fanout does seem to be more of a sniper-prone individual.
Yes, Fanout is definitely comfortable on the snipers, but it's more if Birdlaw and Daddy D, as I see a May from Daddy D.
Oh wow! I am a mega brain genius. Holy crap!
My guess is if they're running this with, as we're gonna see an Echo as well, the Echo May, they're gonna be holding on the spawn doors. They're being holding on the spawn doors, trying to get
that's what they want to do.
Clean fights. Just maybe trying to wall off one of the entrances or just walling off heals, and just you're not going to be able to hold the whole map on this. We know this, but it's like, hey, if we can get a minute off the clock, as USC is going to know us, they can just see everybody rushing towards their doors. It's like, hey, if we can get a minute off the clock and a guaranteed second fight on A point, we're going to take it.
Yes, double snipers. Yeah, so they're trying to separate the teams there. It didn't quite work out, but it does make the maneuverability really suck in general for USC. Though they do manage to push out of their spawn, putting enough DPS into Funkmaster to give him some problems. And he does, Illicit does get taken out. That's the main healing source, and right now Funkmaster needs to get out of there because he doesn't have his main healing. He is gone. Twang does suffer the casualties, but I think it might be a little bit too late for USC here.
Yeah, I think right now, if you're Colorado Boulder, you just die on point. That's all you got to do. You're going to be wasting time. You got a good 35 seconds, which isn't horrible for any means, and you're guaranteed a second fight. That is the one thing with Havana. Yes, you have the infamous Rhine corner, but if you hold that and lose, you're not guaranteed a second fight on A point. As you're going to be seeing Fano just holding that high ground, knowing where they're coming from, like, hey, if you want to peek your head, I'm just going to snipe your head off.
Yeah, he's gonna see if anyone wants to be ballsy about it, and it seems Isaiah will answer that call.
He's like, all right, I'll challenge it.
Yeah, he's there for it. And he does have to fall down. The sniper does come back. We have an Earth Shatter on this corner. This is going to be real interesting considering that both are either have Shatter or going to have a Shatter. Right now, Twang is the offender, and he's going to be kind of frozen down by this May. The shield will give him some coverage, and he's trying to be very threatening. Funkmaster has no recovery. His healers are not there for him in time. And while a Graviton Surge will keep him from capitalizing on the Earth Shatter, I do believe this fight is going to have Boulder backing up and giving up point A.
Yeah, this will be a cap probably for USC. It was just a great play there. Just pressing W. Twang was like, all right, I know my supports are just going to be pumping me obnoxiously full of heals. I can just press W, be swinging away, gets Punkmaster very early, able to get that Shatter. And granted, yes, Ruby does use the Zarya, which it does come back to the fact that I don't know if Zarya is Ruby's favorite character.
Oh, Daddy D going away immediately.
Fano gets an obnoxiously good kill there. But
that was through a shield too. I would also point out that it wasn't just the healing that kept him alive. He ran forward with the shield. Graviton Surge though, catching Funkmaster and Ruby off guard. I think they were ready for the push, and I do believe Southern California said, no, actually you will respect Patriot.
Yes, you need to put respect on our name, as Ruby is going to be swapping over that Diva, and God, it's not going great for Boulder right now. They need to switch off this May, in my opinion, and go some sort of hit skin, or even that Reaper that worked so well for them throughout the first two maps. It's just not working right now.
I'm interested to see because they actually swapped to a dive composition. They want to dive on these guys, and Isaiah gets taken out by a sniper immediately. And it does appear that they will get frozen. Bubble does save him, though, and that was the only target that she really got with her Snowstorm there. That is unfortunate. And Parzival will get taken out, too. That's Boulder's speed gone. They're not rushing anything.
No, USC, it just seems like, yes, they picked this map, and they picked it for a
They picked
reason.
it intentionally.
Like, they know going in is like, hey, they're not going to be running the junk, which I'm kind of shocked that they haven't yet. Maybe Isaiah's just too,
Maybe
I
they
don't know.
preferred on offense.
Maybe as we're
And
gonna see
we're
a
gonna get to see
Daddy D Genji.
Really? Okay. I'm curious what the logic there is, honestly, on Genji, because what you're fighting right now, in terms of what you're trying to battle, you're not battling too many things that you necessarily want to dash through. Though he might just be a pro on that right click. Isaiah is really trying to pick up ultimate charge here. Might not get it in time. There it is. Tries to Earth Shatter, gets killed too quickly. She's still going to be around in her regular Echo form. And ultimate from Bird Lodge just going to wreck house. And Isaiah will go down, and that's just really a finish fight. And beautiful anti-nade, far too late, but a good anti-nade.
A very good anti-nade, but just too bad it's not going to do anything. Is right now Parzival just being like, all right, I'm going to stall on point with my boy Funk. And yeah, not too much going to be coming out of it. Isaiah is going to be swapping out of the Trickster. Ruby's using...
Yeah, I believe the idea was that she was going to do the bomb, hopefully survive, and hop back into a mech to delay for even more time. That was just a
Or maybe they're
play.
switching here. That's my... no, Funkmaster is going to switch. But my only guess is with Daddy D on that Genji is just trying to challenge Fan Out. Fan Out is getting a lot of value.
You want a backline push. I see what you mean.
Yeah, but then Isaiah is going to be swapping onto their own Widow, and then Ruby onto the Sigma, which I honestly think best hero for Ruby, at least at the moment, either Sigma or Diva. Just seems the Zarya is not up to where it should be right now.
I'm very interested to see what Isaiah wants to do, because they've just decided they want to challenge. There's a Graviton Surge that immediately catches both tanks off guard. Again, they keep on getting caught by this.
Yeah, they keep just getting caught not expecting a fight and not expecting USC to be as pushed up as they are. Especially right there, like, you're so far away from the payload trying to hold that corner. Yes, it's great positioning from USC, and it's also very poor planning from Boulder. It's like, you know, so far through this map they've done this. Like, you need to be able to expect, like, hey, they're going to be pushing up again, they're going to be pressing W with no remorse, and we just have to be ready for it.
Well, and it's also the Graviton Surge. The Graviton Surge, I think they wanted to eat it with Diva. It didn't work out. They picked Sigma so that they could still eat it. Hasn't worked so far. And Isaiah does successfully challenge Fan Out. Gets Fan Out off, and you can see that the immediate shift in position from Southern California. Their sniper is down, and all of a sudden they're acting very defensive.
Yes, they're like, oh no, like, our backline pressure's just gone. So they're like, all right, let's wait 10 seconds. We still got 2 minutes here.
Yeah, no, they have the time to wait for it. There's no reason to push a 5v6 here.
But
Fan Out
takes
just takes out Isaiah and decides, you know what, that's just not enough. And immediate ultimates just get pumped out here. Coalescence will go off from Southern California, but I don't really think it'll be enough. I feel like that was to support a fight that ended before she ulted.
Yes, and Twang did try to use Shadow there, did not get anything from it. But I don't know, if you're Colorado Boulder, maybe did not need the sound barrier there. That's the only thing if I had to pick on it.
Yeah, we got a Gravitic Flux that didn't catch anything. Patriot does get a kill onto Ruby, and that's going to start the collapse, but unfortunately, Daddy D does get Bird Law, which is going to confuse them here. They take out both DPSs, actually. Daddy D showing that they did pick Genji for more than just a fancy ninja.
Yes, it's more than just a fancy ninja, but I think the big play right there was Patriot actually killing Ruby mid-Graphitic Flux, because I believe he had maybe 1 to 2 people left in the air at that point, but Patriot's like, no, you're not going to kill my teammates. I don't know, maybe he was caught in as well, I'm not entirely sure. As we're going to have a great grab here from Patriot, going to be excellent stall. Daddy is going to kill Anzolo, though, so it's only going to be Lucio heals.
None of it matters, though. Patriot's at full power, and there are no shields to speak of right now. Twang pins the only shield on the field that could have blocked anything. It is now a delay, though they did get them down to under a minute, which is optimal if they're going to get a full map clear.
Yes, as we're going to see Daddy D just onto the stall, onto the Doomfist, as well as Ruby onto the ball, and Funkmaster onto the Winston, just trying to stall, which, honestly, they haven't done a horrible job, but the thing is, they haven't got any picks. So they're gonna get maybe a little less time off the clock than
but they're not, though, because
thought.
it resets to 1 minute, though, if you're underneath.
Oh, true.
So
but let's say Colorado does push with a lot better time. It does help in the long run, maybe that 5-10 seconds difference that does get added onto their time if they do complete over a minute. But I don't know. Colorado seemed a little out of their shell there, not as much expecting what USC was gonna run.
Yeah, the seconds definitely matter. I'm just saying that towards the end it might not pan out. But either way, I don't think that was a terrible outing by either team. But I was very surprised to see that the tanks seemed to be caught off guard quite often by Boulder antics.
Yeah, I agree.
USC antics.
Yes, USC's antics they were very interesting to say the least. Just pushing up instantly every single time. Right now, USC is gonna be a very similar look. Fan out onto the May, just trying to be holding close to those spawn doors, Birdlaw and the Reaper. Just a casual, normal rush comp with that May. Kind of looking like comp was a few months ago, don't you think?
Yeah, something like that. And again, happy to see the May back. We do have, like I'm sure you saw, that double snipers are back out at it again.
Yes.
And Isaiah, I kind of expected to do this, but Daddy D seems to be more of a rush character, so I'm surprised to see him lay back with a Hanzo.
Yeah, we've been kind of just seeing Daddy D onto that Reaper, which, don't get me wrong, fantastic Reaper player so far tonight, but I agree. I'm kind of shocked to see the Hanzo. Maybe it's just one of those niche picks that he has. Boulder know that their USC is holding that angle. Going to be trying to do the wide way around just to try and catch him off guard.
And the tanks are completely out of position. He leaps onto the high ground, which is very intelligent. He sees the composition, like, no one else can get up here. I'm going to sit up here. Funkmaster does get killed up there anyway, though. Doesn't matter because the support took so long to get to him. He could not survive long enough. Ruby does get away, though, has the boost. Isaiah does get taken out as well, though, by a stray Lucio.
Yes, and this is going to be a more successful spawn, I don't know, spawn defense? Spawn,
I would call it a spawn hold, yeah.
Spawn hold here from USC, because they're already going to have more time on the spawn hold than Colorado Boulder. And now, Colorado Boulder going to be swapping onto the Zarya, swapping onto the Reaper, and it looks like
it's swapping onto a May as well. They immediately took this double snipers out because they have to get out of their own spawn, and so far it has not worked out. So much damage is being pumped out. I think the Reaper has been relatively unchallenged. Birdlaw is having a good time out here.
Birdlaw is having a great time, and Twang's just like, all right, I'm just going to swing away. Patriot's going to keep getting his charge back up. Hanzolo is also going to have an early coalescence here, the first ult of this attack.
Yeah, and the anti-nade goes out, doesn't get much for it. The walls are kind of keeping Funkmaster in a bad position.
It was a great wall from Fano, just like, hey, you're not moving. No, your team doesn't see you.
Yeah,
they're not going to help you. You're
I'd like to
stuck
say
here.
that he did that on top of the car that was already walled off by his friendly mate. He used his enemy's May wall with his own wall to trap them even longer.
Already?
Yeah, we're having an interesting time here. Though they finally do get some kills, the spawn advantage is still here, guys. And,
yeah, the spawn advantage is here. Like, you're not going away. Like, it only takes them a few seconds to come back, but overall, a very good spawn hold from USC.
Yeah, that's
all things
half
concerned.
their time wasted.
The time wasted. God,
that's more than they could ask for, honestly.
Oh, 100%. You're luckily, if you think of that, like, even Colorado's like, all right, you win one fight and then you lose it. It's 30, 40 seconds off the clock that you wouldn't have had initially. But
and I'll point out that they did most of that. They did most of that without ultimate too. Look how much they've been able to save for the second fight.
Very true, bro. Fano is going to be swapping onto that Widow, and Patriot is going to be swapping onto the Diva. More their comfort picks rather than the very niche composition that's going to be running.
They're going to come up from the ceiling here as a big surprise and put out a sound barrier. A lot of ultimates pumped out, but I'm not sure that they needed it given that beautiful ultimate by May.
Yeah, I think right there is more just panic. You see Twang use Shatter.
Just jump from the high ropes.
You see Froki use Sunbury, like, alright, we may need to put more into this than what we thought. Granted, they still have Grab, which is the very winnable ultimate, and Daddy D, again, on his famous Reaper here, almost going to have Death Blossom just hiding on high ground, like, hey, you're going to contest point, I'm just going to drop down. And if you're not, I'm in great positioning for the following fight.
Yeah, no, he's there to build ultimate and be a threat, and there it is. He's not even going to use the ultimate because the team just shreds them on that Graviton Surge. Look at... They've used the ults, sure, but the pacing of which they've been using the ults has been fantastic. I feel little need to comment on the kills because usually it's decided within one play, one instance, one trick that they do, and the fight's over.
I would agree there. It's just been great from Colorado, but also great from both sides, honestly. USC has had their moments, but as soon as they got that spawn hold gone, they've looked a little uncomfortable as Fano is going to swap back onto the May and Patriot back onto the Zarya here, which is an interesting pick. If you know you're going to be swapping back onto it, why waste the ult charge? But maybe they have a set plan here.
Well, the plan might have also gone to waste after winning the fight so quickly as well. And there's the ultimate to come right back down. And it seems that both the Death Blossoms getting a lot of bang for their buck, though the freezing area panning out for them very nicely. Isaiah putting in work, and that Lucio, I'm afraid, can't stall for very long if he's lost his movement. So
Yes,
that
when
will
you get
go
very
rather quickly.
cold like that, it is very hard to move. I can't say that right now as I'm in Phoenix, but as you know, probably up in Washington,
It can
when
get
it's cold,
yeah.
you don't want to move.
It's blanket time in here.
It is blanket time.
And we're going to get them stuck in the deep corner here, though the wall off was almost successful. I feel like if that wall was just a bit to the left, but it doesn't really matter as many defensive ultimates have been
Huge
used. Both
shatter
support,
from Twang.
both support ultimates have been used by Colorado. They're pushing forward, but Funkmaster is losing too much health. He is gone, and the freezing area by May is going to solidify this fight, I think. But Reaper's going to make sure that it's a little bit interesting. Graviton will catch 3, and while a fight might have been swayed by USC, that ultimate catching 3 people without their tanks, that fight was over. I think that was a beautiful play, taking advantage of the situation. They knew that they had taken out the tanks of both sides. Essentially, only one off tank was alive for Boulder anyhow, and he knew that he was unchallenged. No tank counter him.
And I want to go back to where Twang used that shatter up on high ground, where you initially think, oh, it's going to be a great shatter, but it was great backing up from Colorado Boulder. This Fana is going to use the Blizzard here, going to help get 2 picks, and it is more just going to be, hey, all right, we're going to catch you in your spawn right now. You're going to stop your momentum. At least let us breathe a little bit.
Yeah, I know, and I loved it. It worked out very well for USC, but USC managed to not only get the Blizzard, but then wall off the tank stuck in said Blizzard.
Yep.
Which was a pretty good move, though. Again, this is their spawn. They can only sit here for so long. Though they're willing to challenge it as they put out another Graviton Surge. Holy crap, ult buildup.
He has been fantastic ult buildup.
We're going to see plenty of ultimates pop out, and Frag's going multiple ways, but 3 kills immediately onto Boulder will give some USC some room to breathe. Finally, it's almost as if they were sitting on their spawn.
Yeah, only if, you know, like, all right, our home is just 10 meters away. We can just relax here. We're gonna
now they're
regroup.
gonna pull. Now they're gonna pull back here a little bit, and give them a little bit more space, but not by much, as they've kind of been using these ultimate on rotation. Ruby has their ultimate almost built up here now, so they're gonna have to start respecting the ultimate that they're building up. That wall and a Blizzard, immediately making it so that nothing that Funkmaster did mattered in that moment, as they are immediately taken out by their mirror. And it's weird. Colorado University of Southern California here finally making themselves some room, and weirdly Boulder just sitting by their spawn.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a great Blizzard from Isaiah. He actually got Twang in that, as we saw. We thought, all right, Twang just wasted shatter. He's going to be dying here. But the rest of his team's like, no, you're not dying. They put a lot of resources into it, and he actually won that fight. So I want to give credit to Twang for capitalizing, but also on the Hanzolo and Prong. Like, hey, you're not dying here. We're going to win this fight.
Yeah, on that topic, look at them walling off the Graviton Surge, trying to put them in a bad position, but then a counter ultimate and a Blizzard and a Coalescence. Oh my goodness, and that is a mop up by Daddy D in the corner, picking up 4 kills. They will shred their way through.
Didn't give him the team kill.
No, didn't give him the team kill, but my goodness, that was so many ultimates thrown out, and I think that Daddy Diaz had done a very good job of placing his moments very specifically. Doesn't necessarily burst his ultimate. Weirdly, I haven't seen either team necessarily engage with very many ultimates so far.
Yes, and there was 9 ults used that fight. As we were going final fight
yeah,
territory
hold that fight.
here.
Wait, this is as tight as it's going to get. It is overtime. They need to win this. They wall off this area here, not giving them very much room to move. A anti-nade forces the Birdlaw to pull back, and then he moves forward after getting healed. It takes down Funkmaster. A Blizzard will make sure that Birdlaw and both tanks from USC are staying put, and Colorado is going to keep on pushing up. There's only a May on the point. She can't freeze herself in place, so she is
Can they
gone.
push us into overtime already?
Yeah, I think they have this. They're going to be moving up. They're going to try to wall off the area. If someone comes through, a boop is going to be set up on the other door. They are clean, they are safe, and we are moving into overtime on this map.
Honestly, great play from both teams. Great resilience from Colorado. But the Trojans, man, they're having one heck of a map. I would favor them to win here purely because, A, their spawn defense, or their spawn, I want to just call it a spawn camp at this point,
Sure.
was very good compared to Colorado's, who will be attacking first.
Yeah, the time delay was fantastic, but they managed to pull out regardless, and didn't come back too short on time. They came in overtime. Like I mentioned, the 28 seconds won't do that much if they landed in overtime, and we'll see how that works out for them. Do you think it's going to be a spawn camp again? Because it worked pretty well last time, and it seems like that's what they're setting up for.
I would assume, yes. They're going to go for the spawn camp, and with that 28-second difference, it's maybe one extra fight, maybe, depending on how quick these fights are with the spawn camp. But honestly, right now, it's been more spotty performances from Colorado Boulder, but more consistent overall team play from USC. I don't know if you would agree with me in that aspect.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I agree, but I don't disagree either. You have a point, but at the same time, they've done a good job of being adaptive. You know,
that is very true. But it seems like, I don't know. Ruby's been very good on the Sigma, but as soon as you put her on the Zarya, it just doesn't seem to be clicking as well as it was on Li Jiang and on previous maps.
And here we go. They're just going to use Speed Boost to just rush forward and try to catch them. They wall off into a slightly smaller corridor, and Funkmaster in a little bit of trouble here, but the healing does go out. It's not enough because I think the Ana was caught on the other side of that wall. That fight was decided by a single ice wall. All too common in team fights like these.
Yeah, way too common in fights like this where you're just like, all right, you're going to push us? All right, we're going to wall you off. You're going to get no heals. You're going to get no support even half your team. And even your own Mei walled off half of your team as well. I don't know if you saw that, but both Meis just made one gigantic wall and it screwed over.
Yeah. However, the Mei is down on this on the USC side, which means there is no walling off happening. They are in control of the battlefield, and the kills are finally coming out for Boulder. They're going to go into overtime right as they start pushing the cart.
All right, and now they're going to have at least 2 to 3 people on cart. The Lucifer for USC is just going to try and get a boop like, all right, maybe I can try and force a C9 here. But nothing too big. USC going in his next fight is going to have Sound Barrier, is going to have that Shatter and Coalescence. Maybe a late grab to pair with that Coalescence. For Colorado Boulder, you're going to have
I expect to see a mess of ultimates. This is going to be a mess of ultimates.
It's just going to be a lot of ults. You're going to have Nano use, Sound Barrier, Shatter, as well for Colorado Boulder, and maybe even a Death Blossom grab combo.
This is gonna come down to who can pull off the best Shatter, and if Ruby can get a very good Graviton placement. This is going to be tank ults. This is what saves this round.
And also, who uses ults first.
And what a beautiful block by the Zarya shield onto Reinhardt, and they start bursting their ultimates. Everyone, they catch 3 different people. Danny D getting a ton of DPS, Punkmaster getting a double kill with his Fire Strike, everyone putting DPS into that Graviton surge. That was so important. Like I said, the kills come in from Birdlaw, but it is not quite enough as they're just going to keep on pushing with the remaining survivors being the DPS.
Yeah, being the DPS and Lucio. And for Colorado Boulder, you're going to be having a Funk swap onto the Winston, but a big thing is there. You still hold on to the Blizzard. They're going to come
out. There's a Blizzard, though, and I doubt you're getting out of that, buddy. Yeah, no, you're stuck. Sorry.
I think it's honestly a smart play, though, from USC. You're forcing out the Blizzard. And just you can't use it for another fight. Granted, you know they're probably going to cap that point. You're not going to have a full 6-on-6. But you draw out that ultimate. Now you know, hey, they don't have anything except Nano.
Yeah,
that's all they have.
They know that they had to burn those ultimates. They're just trying to get space now. Fanout is going to have the Blizzard ready to go. They weirdly don't have their tank ultimates as they were used last time, but it doesn't really matter in this case because the Blizzard is basically going to be unchallenged. A Nano boost doesn't mean anything if the target is frozen. And
yeah, it doesn't mean it's frozen
here right now. There it is. There it is. And it's on the Winston, weirdly, that doesn't get very much use out of it. It has to leap away, back onto point, and they're going to sit on the cart, push it underneath, give them the high ground. What a beautiful
amazing anti-nade.
Funk is going to get a ton of DPS out of that, keep the Primal Rage, keep the enemy team destabilized. USC is having a hard time trying to focus because they're just getting knocked around everywhere. And the Boulder team is making a heyday of it. Daddy D does get taken out, though, which means they don't have the Reaper, and Reaper's going to start running forward and shredding. And you're going to run the C9 because, unfortunately, they picked a dive comp. And I have to say, if there's any comp that's going to C9 in Overwatch, it's going to be dive.
Oh, no. But overall, still, I believe if you have a 1-minute time back, you're happy with that push. You're obviously disappointed with, hey, we could have maybe got the second point if we didn't C9 and maybe draw out that fight a little bit longer. But it's still a very good push for Colorado. And now going up for USC, just having that 28 extra seconds.
Part of that C9 also was just the amount of, I'm going to call it flack, that was being thrown their way way. It wasn't necessarily an intentional C9, but
Oh,
it was...
no C9 is intentional, my friend.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, sometimes this quote-unquote C9 happens because they just didn't have the health. Like, they would have just died on point anyway.
Sure.
But, yeah, it's... I'm not sure how that C9 necessarily happened, but again, Winston had to leap around because that's what Winston does. And him sitting on the point just meant that he was a walking HP bag.
As we're just looking at the trash can.
Look. I know that I know that a C9 is trash. Okay,
I know, and I understand
I don't need
that
a visual representation.
The only reason why I'm casting Artie is because I am trash at the game. All right, let's get this straight here. So that if we're
a hack, we're going with Sombra
here.
Immediately hacking the Mei, though it's a little bit late. Kills immediately, making sure that they are stuffed in the corner. Holy crap!
It was a great hack by Fan out there. Honestly, just get an easy pick. It's one other pick, and like, all right. There's an extra, that 28 seconds that we were talking about earlier, just negated. Now we're going to be even time bank, pretty much.
Yeah, that was beautiful frags, by the way, because they fragged
another
both.
Great wall.
Oh, another great wall, too. There is Birdlaw becoming a threat, but not for very long. The amount of kills that happened immediately, that wall off, making sure that that tank was caught, was perfect. The kills on both of the supports immediately at the start of the match, perfect. They are delaying them just as they were delayed before. It is coming back to them, I think, and they're gonna try their best. Oh, Sombra gets caught, has to pull back.
Yeah, you gotta push in a little bit too far there.
The wall's not quite doing what they wanted there. I don't know how that didn't pin, and that Earth Shatter block was fantastic. Funkmaster's in a bit of an awkward position, a bit of a funk, you might say, as as Southern California is just gonna push forward. I did say that.
Oh my goodness.
Funkmaster was stuck in a bad position, and now Twang is going to be pushed forward. He was walled off, but unfortunately, walling off someone doesn't mean very much when there's only two supports in a Mei to take advantage of it.
Yes, and everybody just from Colorado would be dying on point, and one huge
they're just
thing
delaying.
Is,
yeah, they're just delaying.
One huge thing is here, Colorado, when overtime hit, they were almost at the door. USC is just getting out of their spawn.
No. It was overtime for both of them.
Or was it?
Yeah, no, it was overtime.
It didn't feel like it. I'm sorry.
No, it didn't. But they were able to.
It didn't feel like it. So
yeah.
USC going into this next fight, they're gonna have 4 ults. They're gonna be able to use a nice maybe EMP Shatter combo. That's probably all you're gonna try and use. But you do have a grab and you do have a Sound Barrier.
Oh,
just
this is gonna be bad. You thought you had the advantage, but an EMP from above, an Earth Shatter, a Blizzard, a Graviton Surge, and a Coalescence. That is 5 ultimates out of Boulder, and not much to show for it as Funkmaster goes down immediately on the Boulder side. If anything, it was a waste.
Yeah, a lot of ults used though from USC. As they're using Shatter, Sound Barrier, EMP, and Coalescence. Boulder can go into this next fight saying, hey, we still saved our Sound Barrier for whenever they use Grav. We have both of our DPS ults. I don't know if they're going to be able to recontest here. I don't believe they're going to be able to unless...
That EMP was such a destabilizing factor.
Oh, and I don't think Boulder thought that, hey, Sombre's going to be chilling up top. So, hey, they at least see, maybe even if it's a second or two early, that can make the difference.
And they're just going to jump on their fight here. They're going to Blizzard right here. I don't think that USC was expecting this fight here as they just wiped them. I think they were caught completely by surprise there. And what a map win as the Buffalo
what a win for Colorado
a surprise
Boulder,
from above.
Man.
What? That was genius. I want to say that right now. That was genius because it was an overtime thing. Almost no one challenges there in general, even in overtime, because it's just not expected. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, it was just a fantastic play call from Colorado Boulder thinking, hey, they're not going to be expecting us to push up top here as we're reminiscing the Daddy D5K, but you don't expect that.
That was a beautiful Blizzard too, because they're all on the point, right? Because they have to stay on the point. They're recollecting themselves, they're healing everyone in a pile, and boom, Blizzard. Now everyone has to run away. Mei's able to freeze multiple targets by hastening the Blizzard by her own gun, and that was just brutal. I fundamentally don't think that they expected a fight to happen right there and then.
No, you could tell they were shocked. They kind of looked up like, what's going on? Hello? Are you pushing right now? Like, oh my goodness. And like, because they just don't expect it. And then all of a sudden, yeah, you lose just like that. And it's crazy. But props to whoever made that play call for Colorado Boulder. Whoever their shot caller is, they deserve MVP.
I was going to say
that is the difference of this game, was that push right there.
Whoever the IGL is for Colorado, I was pretty impressed by what they were doing. I can't obviously hear them, but I could kind of see the effects of what was going on because of them. they didn't get rattled because the IGL had a plan. The IGL made that crazy call of, hey, you have a Blizzard, let's just dunk on them right now while they're healing from the last fight. And
Yeah, their
all of
in-game
that
leader
wild stuff.
was whoever it was. I have a feeling it might have been the Rhine, but I don't know. It's just fantastic.
We'll learn soon, and I'm sure we'll know by next week. But yeah, this was a fantastic set of matches. I am so happy with this. This was amazing to watch.
Oh, it was a fantastic set of games, and honestly, that game made up for it. It was a fantastic game. And take nothing away from USC. They had a very, very good game tonight. I think it's just very caught off guard at the very last second when you just can't. You still need to have your composure at a 10 out of 10. They kind of dropped it to about a 5 thing. All right, we have like 5 seconds here to heal. Colorado takes advantage, wins the map, wins the game. What a series, Artie.
Yeah, this was great. I loved every inch of it, and I think fundamentally neither team should be mad about this.
No,
like win or loss,
not.
Both teams I think performed very excellent. There were mistakes made, and there are mistakes every match, but
100%.
their performance overall, the actions that they did, the call at the very end there to Blizzard over the top, all of that was beautiful, and I loved the combinations by both teams. I cannot wait to see more of them and show them to the world because this was great.
It was a fantastic set of games tonight. Granted, the second one was a little more entertaining, I would say. The first one was more like, hey, let's just see how godlike Utah is.
Yeah, you're just you're establishing the power level. You know, you're establishing
you're
power
establishing
levels.
your dominance in the community. Like, hey, we are one of the best teams here. But heck, man, if Colorado plays Utah,
I'll be excited.
It could be a really good game.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a win, but this is only the first week. It's only going to go up from here. Anyway, I think this was. I'm in a little bit of awe. I'm a little speechless, but
Same here, man.
I'm very happy with how this first week of PAC-U came out. We're going to have a wonderful time in the following weeks here. Congratulations on tonight's winners. Thank you so much for joining us here at the PAC-U tonight and spending time with our production crew, players, and talent. Remember to check out our website at pacugaming.com and Twitter to see when we are next live. Good night and good luck.
Peace.
Say all the words out of my mind about who I'm supposed to be. I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away. They were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child.